Hello guys, this is Juan Davila, and today we're going to be learning how to compose an accompaniment with a given melody and chords. Prerequisites for this video is to be able to read music and a little theory. So first of all, since we already have the melody here, this will work perfect with the right hand of the piano. So we just need the left hand part actually. So the right hand is already given to us. Now the chords, we have E minor, which is E, G, B, A minor, A, C, E, D major, which is D, F sharp, A, and G major, which is G, B, D. And we will be using a couple of inversions. Basically, that just means that the root of the chord will not be in the bass. We're going to have another note that still fits the chord that will be played in the bass. So the inversions will be explained in a little bit. So let's hear the main melody first so we can get an idea to see how the song sounds. Okay, the first version we're going to see here is the Arpeggio version, and I like to use arpeggios in accompaniments because it keeps the flow of the music going, even when you have long notes in the melody, like whole notes or half notes. So as you can see, it's pretty much patterns of eighth notes all the way through, and I've given you the numbers of the fingers. The 5 is for the pinky, the 3 the middle finger, the 1 the thumb, and so forth. And you can see that there's a pattern that I'm using: 5 3 1 3 1 3 5 3. Then I use the same pattern, but my fingers are gonna change to 5 2 1 5 2 1 2 1 2 5 2. And as you can see in that A minor chord, I have an E in the bass, so that would be an inversion. And I mentioned earlier that when the root is not in the bass, that you have an inversion. So we have the next chord D, but it goes back to the pattern of 5 3 1 3 1 3 5 3. And as you can see, this pattern is pretty much the same throughout the whole piece. There is an exception. If you look in measure 21, I go down to a B, and the reason I did that, and my fingers changed too, is because on the next measure I start with an E. So I didn't want to end a measure with an E and then start again with an E. I think like this, it sounds better, and the B fits perfect in the chord. It's the fifth of the chord. So I'm going to play first just the bass part, and then we'll play it all together. Okay, so that was the bass part by itself, and as you could see, the patterns remained the same pretty much throughout the whole piece. There was just a couple of exceptions there. Now let's hear both parts together, the melody being played by the right hand, and then the arpeggio pattern at the bottom. Okay guys, let's look at version 2. Here we have another pattern, an easier pattern actually, where we have one bass note played by itself and then a group of the third and the fifth of the chord being played on beats 2 and 4. So the pattern is beats 1 and 3 is just one note, which is a bass of the chord, and then beats 2 and 4 is the third and the fifth of the chord. And guys, the reason for this video is that I myself I'm not a very good piano player, and I want to have options for you guys to come up with your own accompaniments, so you can be able to play some of your favorite songs when you don't have an accompaniment available, or maybe you do have an accompaniment that might be too hard for you. So here's the bass part of the second version. Alright guys, now let's hear both parts, the right hand and the left hand together. Version 2 of All the Pretty Little Horses. And as you can see, the fingers are pretty much the same in both versions. What changed were the rhythms and the styles as far as what beats played what notes, but the fingerings were pretty much the same all the way through. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe.